chaos theory, the butterfly effect, whatever you want to call it. It tells us when a butterfly flaps its wings, the ripple affects the tsunami on the other side of the world. I know it sounds extreme, but the concept that one small action has the potential to create a tsunami, it's biblical. In the Bible, they call it discipleship. I'm Drew Davis, and I'm on a mission to see more people step into God's calling on their life. And today's message is dedicated to our Dream Center director, Marius, who he's the catalyst behind this story being told. And it's my hope that this story helps you to step into the game of discipleship. I want you to meet Colby Moore. Colby is part of our Dream Center team this summer. Colby just graduated from Central High School, and he's planning to attend college in the fall. For the past 12 years I've known him, Colby has wanted one thing. What do you want to be when you grow up?
President of the United States.
He has dressed the part. He's dreamed the part. It's all about being president for this kid. It's become part of how so many of us see him. We call him President Colby. But the realities of this world could have stopped that dream. The number one cause of death for a black male under 45 is homicide. Coach Fitz and I talk about the stats all the time. Less than 50% of our black young men will graduate high school. It's not acceptable. More black men are in prison today than are enrolled in college. Statistically, if a kid like Colby fails to graduate, there's a 70% probability he will end up in prison. So 1 out of 3 of the young men we see enter our program in kindergarten, that's the statistic probability for them, prison. It's easy to see how so many of these young men adapt to a victim mentality. Colby could have become a victim. His mom passed away while Colby was in elementary school, but discipleship was already happening in Colby's life. Miss Sheila was there after school at the Dream Center. Then after that, Colby walked across the street to his Aunt Viola, who mothered him till his dad got off work. And between his dad and his Aunt Viola, he was in church every time the doors were open, being discipled. Discipleship is meant to destroy victimhood. A father figure in the home is discipleship. My dad pouring into me, discipling me, encouraging me. My dad taking me to church where men like Greg Anderson, Jim Constable, Joe McCartney, Eddie Choate, all these men poured into me. I got to college, and I've said it before, Steve Shadrach knocked on my door, but there was also Steve Manette, and there was Charlie Lofton who followed up. Throughout my life, guys like Rick Bezette or Darren DeLon, especially Phil Nobley, and Jim Stockdale, these men invested in me. It wasn't one man, it was many. I am who I am today because of all of these men who discipled me. At the Dream Center, Miss Sheila handed Colby off to Georgia Nettie Flower. And then Marius Malta stepped in, and along the way there were volunteers like Stu and Papa Joe, Michael and Jenny Heisler. All of these people played roles in mentoring Colby. Accepting Jesus as my Savior was the most important decision of my life. But salvation alone was never God's plan. He called us to make disciples. Once again, I am who I am because of the people who invested in me. This summer, Colby, along with other youth who've grown up in our programs, they're employed by the Dream Center. They're now discipling the next generation of kids who face the same possible life outcomes. Colby is who he is because of all the people who've invested in him. And now he's stepping into God's calling to go and make disciples. God is calling you also to step into this thing called discipleship. My life changed forever when I started discipling others. Young men like Colby are where they are today because of the sacrifices of time and of finances that were made by so many others. Maybe you only have a short moment to come and serve, or maybe finances are tight and all you can give is $5. Just like discipleship, we are in a long game where every investment compounds into the lives of our kids. I have a degree in accounting. I have zero experience working with kids, zero at all. But all God was asking was for obedience, for me to show up. This summer, Colby and other Dream Center kids who are now serving are doing so because of those of you who came before them. Those people who put on that red shirt and showed up each and every day. So what do you say to the next Colby? The Colby who's on our waiting list that we don't have room for today. Do you say, sorry, there's no more room, there's no space available? Or do you say, God called me to make disciples? God called me to make disciples, and there is no other acceptable answer. At the end of the day, every kid in our program has the potential to win or to lose because of those who will get in the game and invest in their lives.